Hello, I'm Declan Curry and welcome to this brand new business channel where we'll meet and talk to industry leaders about how they've successfully navigated the turbulent waters of recent times. This is Spotlight. When we think of financial institutions, we sometimes assume it's all about the transaction, the process and the data. In short, that finance is all about the numbers. But in the case of today's guest, Andrew Thompson, the managing partner of HMT, a leading independent corporate finance advisor, we're going to learn that not all financial institutions are the same. Andrew, welcome to Spotlight. After a billing like that, you've got quite a lot to live up to. Tell me about HMT. What does it do?
Well, HMT is a corporate finance boutique. What we do, we help people buy, sell and fund businesses. We act in the low mid-market, which for us is transaction size typically in the 5 to 100 million range. What makes it so enjoyable for us is we're typically acting for entrepreneurs and owner-managers rather than large corporates. So there's a really personal aspect to everything we do. And we do help people sort of realise their dreams, whether it's acquiring the business they've been running for a while, whether it's funding and growing that business, or whether it's selling the business and helping them get the fruits for all the hard work.
So this is helping businesses to grow, helping people who've worked hard in businesses to savour the success.
Absolutely. A typical client may be an owner-manager who's established a business, maybe run it for 20, 30 years, and it could be in a retirement event. It could be the guy just de-risking and taking some cash out. But effectively, typically it's a life-changing event for that individual.
It's a competitive market space. What's different about you?
What's different about us? I think there's lots of good operators in the market we do operate in. I think from us, I think it's the people aspect. Every transaction we work on, we are personally invested in it. We are an entrepreneurial business, so we do understand entrepreneurial businesses. We're not one of the large investment banks, for example. So it is that personal investment in every transaction, and it's the passion to actually get those transactions across the line. And I think because the personal investment, to my mind, when you are advising a business, the starting position is to understand what the requirements are for the entrepreneur.
So as we said in the introduction, it's not just a numbers game.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the quality of the people. What's essential there, of course, are the skills that they have, the soft skills.
Absolutely. I mean, lots of people are very technically good, but it is about connecting with the entrepreneur, and it's to understand what their driver is. It's old news now, but in terms of when COVID came, for example, it wasn't the right time to sell a business necessarily, but you had lots of entrepreneurs that actually had just been absolutely shattered during the process, emotionally drained, and whilst it wasn't the right time to sell the business, they were probably wanting to get out. And from a numbers point of view, the advice would be to hang on a year or two, show that you bounce back from COVID, show that the business is back on that growth trajectory. But a lot of the guys just emotionally, they just weren't able to do that.
Let's talk about innovation. Where's the innovation in your business?
I mean, it really comes down to the culture of HMT. Our people, they have an absolute passion for what they do. They have complete empathy with their clients. And the thing we sort of drill into all our people is we are not advising corporates. We're advising individuals and entrepreneurs. The business is just the vehicle that's going to allow them to realise their own ambitions.
Well, give me one example of that. I know you've had lots of great clients over the years, and some of them are well known.
Yeah, I mean, one that sticks to my heart very much is a company called Prowse. The management team, Peter Selby and AK Tan, were running the business successfully for someone else. It was part of a large PLC. They wanted to imagine buyout. I helped them I negotiated the terms of the buyout. I raised private equity funding and I raised debt funding to allow them to imagine buyout, which effectively meant they took control of that business with a private investor. And then 2 years later, we sold that business, enabled us to make a large realisation. What's particularly nice about that example is Peter and AK both stayed very good friends of the firm and me, but also more recently, I actually sold Peter's son's business for him.
So the bonds continue down through the generations.
I'd like to think so. We have been doing it a long time now, and perhaps it ages me to be able to say that we act for father and son, but that's absolutely right.
And as a leader of the business, as an entrepreneur, someone who's been on this 30-year journey that you've had, what's the most important thing you've learned? What's the best bit of advice from your experience that you can pass on?
I think the best bit of advice I could offer is everyone's thinking about the pressures today, the issues today, and with all the shocks to the economy, and I'm sure there's more to come, everyone is thinking about today's problems. So that's Horizon 0. You've got to be thinking about Horizon 1 as well. What's the longer term plan for the business? How's the market changing? How can you optimize your position in that marketplace? How can you future-proof your business? And how can you reduce the dependency on the business on you? Because if you can't do that, you're not going to create a legacy.
Andrew Thompson of HMT, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your experience from your 30-year journey. And thank you for joining us on Spotlight.